GAB Talks by the Independent Press Award. I'm your hostess, Gabby Olzak. Today, we will be speaking with Dr. Barbara Koltuska-Haskin, author of How My Brain Works, a guide to understanding it better and keeping it healthy, a distinguished favorite in the 2021 New York City Big Book Award for Health. It has also garnished multiple other national and international awards. Dr. Koltuska-Haskin is a clinical neuropsychologist in private practice with over 30 years experience. Along with a doctorate in psychology and neuropsychology, she has a Master of Science in clinical psychology and a Bachelor of Education. Dr. Koltuska-Haskin was born and raised in Warsaw, Poland. In 1989, she was awarded the American Association of University Women International Fellowship, where she spent a year at UCLA's postdoctoral training program in neuropsychology. She later received her U.S. citizenship as an alien of exceptional abilities on the basis of her education, research in neuropsychology, and clinical achievements. Barbara is also classically trained mezzo-soprano and earned a degree from the School of Music in Warsaw, Poland. She joins us from sunny Albuquerque, New Mexico. Congratulations, Barbara, and welcome to the GAB.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. And, you know, the book got 7 awards. This is my first book. I didn't expect any award, so this is kind of amazing. But I get a lot of positive feedback from that book, so I'm happy it's helping people.
It really is. And I have to say, Barbara, that obviously, I do not specialize in brain neuropsychology, but it was extremely easy to read and approachable, and I learned so much from it. So let's get to your background. It's so interesting. You grew up in Poland.
Yes.
Did that affect your decision to become a neuropsychologist?
Well, I was always interested in brain, how brain works, and what is going on there. And I felt like maybe neuropsychology is better than neurology because we have a kind of more to offer. And in terms of like brain functioning. So I felt that, and I was a brain researcher first. So I have a good background to kind of guide people through their brain functioning problems, what works good, what doesn't work. That's about the background.
In fact, your book, How the Brain Works, it's like I said, it's extremely approachable to read. It's an introduction to not only neuropsychology, but it's also a guide to healthy living. What are the benefits of our neuropsychological evaluation?
Well, let me explain what the neuropsychologists
Please.
do and what is neuropsychology, because when I tell people I'm a neuropsychologist, so people ask, what do you do? Okay, so I wrote that book. Neuropsychology is a bridge between psychology and medicine. A neuropsychologist is brain functioning specialist. So we assess how your brain functions. And we do this through testing, blocks, puzzles, computer. We don't do anything invasive. However, if I start working with you and I notice that you need to have MRI, I will contact your doctor. I said, I think that person needs to have brain imaging. Or maybe if I see that maybe it looks like you may have some seizure disorder, then I said, let's send this patient for sleep deprived EEG. But what I do is just, I want this to be kind of a positive experience for my patients. I make sure that they feel okay. And if they have an anxiety, I calm them down and just try to explain what we are going to do. So we have 2 hemispheres, left and right. So your left processes language, right processes your nonverbal stuff. Also, unless you are left-handed, it's a little bit more complicated. You can have a language in both hemispheres or vice versa. Anyway, so what we do is we assess how your brain processes verbal, nonverbal information. We assess your rate of processing. If your rate of processing, of mental processing is average, for your age below average or above average. We assess your memory. We don't have one memory. We have many different memories. So we go through all the memories. We assess your attention concentration, executive functioning, and we also assess your emotionality, because we are one, body, mind, and spirit. So your mental, your emotions, your mental problems obviously affect how your brain works. And I will talk about this a little bit later. What I would like to emphasize here is that we do not, that memory complaints are not necessarily memory problems. So if you think that you have memory problems, when you come to me, I will figure out if this is really memory or this is your attention, executive functioning, your very high anxieties affects your ability to process, to remember information. Also, not all attention concentration problems are ADHD. So I'm covering this
Right,
in this book.
we do throw that term around an awful lot, don't we? The
Yes.
ADHD and
Yes.
ADD, especially
Yes.
within the schools. And
yes.
I wanted to ask you, so who then would benefit from this type of evaluation? What type of patient? I know you deal with specific patients, but in your book, you do talk about the benefits to a variety of different types of people, college students in the workplace. Who would benefit from this?
Okay, first of all, people who have a history of brain trauma and or any kind of brain problems, or they think that they may have brain problems. So they think,
memory
okay,
issues.
Yes, memory issues, or they have somebody in a family that struggles with dementia, or they had a friend that was driving a car a year ago, and now this friend is in a nursing home, not recognizing anybody. Dementia can, the rate of deterioration is very different, so not everybody goes fast, but this is not for this talk. Anyway, so people, instead of having a sleepless nights and thinking, oh, I have memory problems, I may end up like my Uncle Joe or my friend Judy, just find a community neuropsychologist services. This is a medical, these are covered services by your medical insurance. Most of them, they should have, because it's covered by Medicare and Medicaid. So it is a medical benefit. And make an appointment with your community neuropsychologist. Neuropsychologists are a rare breed, I have to tell you guys, but we are there.
But you're there. Well,
we are there.
When I was reading the book, I thought, wow, this is wonderful information, but how do I find a neuropsychologist? And then at the end of that part of the book, you did guide us on how to locate one. So that made it really easy for everyone. So Barbara, the motto of your book is, as long as you are breathing, there is more right with you than wrong with you. Explain what that means.
Okay, so what I'm always telling my patients, if you can walk and talk, be grateful. So yes, because
so
it's
true.
true.
Absolutely.
It's true.
It beats the alternative, doesn't it?
Yes, you may have some, usually people think that they have more problems than they have, except for dementia patients. They usually have that they have less problems than they have. And sometimes they come to me and said, I really don't know why my doctor sent me to you. I have no problem. So that's a big red flag for me. But usually people come to me that think they may have memory problems, or they come for ADHD evaluation, and I do very, very detailed clinical intake. And it turns out that they had several brain traumas or several sport-related concussions, and that's their brain have been changed. So, but what I want to emphasize is that instead of having the sleepless night, instead of worrying about it, please just get yourself evaluated if you think you may have problems. This also affects people who already finished, college students, and people who got promoted and have much more work than they had before. Because smart people, smart people are able in high school, they are most of the time they are able to cover and get good grades. But then when they go to college, all over the sudden, they cannot finish classes or it's too much for them. And that's we need to figure out what is the problem there. And then that often happens when people are about 30, 40, 50, when they are promoted to much higher position, and over the sudden they have to do much more work in a much shorter time, and they freak out because they cannot do that. And something, or maybe I have a dementia. I have to calm them down, just relax.
Right,
okay,
right.
so yes, so what I wanted to say is that emotional reaction to the subtle cognitive changes is far more damaging than the cognitive changes alone. So if you have a question, get yourself evaluated, we figure out, because we will very specifically tell you, for instance, is your verbal memory is average for your age group, above average, superior, below average, or lower. So we test you, I get a number, and I compare this number to the norms for your age group. So I can give you very specific information where your cognitive functions are. And it's very frequently, it's very relieving to people, because they come to me and they said, oh, I probably have dementia. And then they found out that they have a little problems with verbal memory, but it's not severe. And they have a superior visual memory. So I said, okay, use your visual memory. I teach them, use the visual memory to help with your verbal memory. So once we do the evaluation, so I'm doing neuropsychological evaluation. I test, first I do the intake, then I do the testing.
Which is very non-invasive, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
people are
then,
afraid of that. They hear testing and they think it's invasive, but this is a very non-invasive procedure.
No, it's non-invasive.
You can't even really call it a procedure, actually.
No, it's not a procedure.
No.
It's just a kind of interaction.
Right.
And I always tell patients that you have to have a positive experience with that. So
once you do the evaluation, what would be our next, what's the most important step to take after I attain the results of my evaluation?
Okay, so first of all, I have an exit session, and this is usually not short sessions, a kind of a long session, just session about sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, sometimes more than an hour. I put this at the end of the day, so I have enough time to answer questions, and we go over the results and we figure out what is working, what's not, how much, and what to do about it. So depending on what we find out, then we prepare a treatment plan. And then I will tell you, because in my community, I know who is good in what. And usually neuropsychologists are people who are working in the community for a long time. And they know who to refer to, like who is doing neurofeedback, which is very good. And I put this, I also do I'm also a blogger for Psychology Today magazine, and there is a lot of articles. If you go to my website, www.drkoltuska.com, that will, there is a direct link to the website, and I am covering also a lot of brain health issues. So if you need a therapy, if I think your emotional stuff is affecting, if you have, like, let's say PTSD from some traumatic events, then I will send you for EMDR or therapist who specialize in this. If you have it's all of this is very individual, and this is not a quick fix, and it's not a quick evaluation. So this is, you have to invest a little bit of your time. And
but the evaluation does arm you with the knowledge that you need to find the tools that you need to deal with your brain.
Absolutely. And then I tell you what kind of exercises I think will help you. And I always talk to people about lifestyle and diet. Because
that's the next part I want to get to. So the book is broken up into two halves for our listeners. The first half does talk about the brain specifically and the positive benefits of the evaluation. The second half of the book, Barbara, you focus on brain health. And I love the way you join the physical, psychological, nutritional, and spiritual worlds. It's really is a guide to healthy living. What do you consider the most important factor in increasing the brain health?
Okay, so before I go to that, I would like to mention one important thing. So
Of
the
course.
reason I wrote this book is because I wanted to let people information what we are doing, and that they don't have to struggle with their cognitive problems, because they are specialists that they can help them. So that was, and my patients were always telling me, you know so much, write a book. And my direct inspiration was actually because people, some kind of found about me in a community and came to me and said, I needed to see you. They were very tearful. I needed to see you 10 years ago. 20 years ago, I would be much better right now. Unfortunately, probably that's true. So the other questions I am always ask my patients are asking me is, okay, so what can I do to keep my brain going? Because the fear of dementia is very real. And
Very real.
yes, and it can incapacitate you if you already have anxiety disorder. So I was writing these books for 3 years. So I did through a lot of research to figure out what actually works, because I wanted to give my patients tangible advice, something that really helps them. Not just that what I think, but what the research says. Okay, so the book is actually what the research says works. And the research says, what I agree, that we are one, body, mind, and spirit. And our brain doesn't work in isolation. The better our body works, the better our brain will work. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
the most important is actually whatever, and I agree with that, is diet, is nutrition, because food is your medicine. That's what I believe. Food is your medicine. So whatever you eat, if you try to eat good food, try to eat well, you will function well. If you eat junk, that's going to be a problem. So the diet is very important. And what the research says, what the best diet is, everybody is in agreement that's Mediterranean diet. What is Mediterranean diet? It's basically more veggies, leafy greens, olive oil, legumes, than meat.
That's the mystery of the Mediterranean diet. You put it quite simply right there, Barbara.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And if you can substitute meat from fish, is even better, or some seafood. I don't know when some states have better access to seafood than when I am, but you don't have to have it fresh. Frozen is very good. And so I teach my patients, do 80-20. Try to be okay 80% of the time, and 20% of time you can slack. If you really need, you only have one life. If you really like cheesecake, have it once in a while.
Not every day.
Not every day, but once in a while. If you love pizza, have it once in a while.
Of
but
course.
Try to be okay for 80% of time, and do not beat yourself up if you had a bad day. If you once in a while, if you overeat it on cheesecake, you are not going to die. But just say, okay, I'm going to try tomorrow. Your self-compassion is extremely important in your recovery.
Yes.
It's a more and more research coming that your mindset is actually extremely important for your recovery with any kind of problems, and for you being able to, for your brain to function well. So what the research says right now is that if you do exercise, if you have good diet, but you have depression, anxiety, and constantly beat yourself up, you are not going to get that benefit. So please be kind and compassionate to the world, and be kind and compassionate to yourself. So if you have a bad day, just say, okay, tomorrow is another day, Scarlett, and try again. Okay, so let's go to back to the diet. So we are trying to do Mediterranean diet 80% of time. Now, what I always talk to my patients is that you are not going to get better if you are not cooking for yourself. Try to cook for yourself And you can have frozen meals and, you know, some fast food if you really like that. Maybe 20% of time, but learn how to cook for yourself. I promise you, it's easy, easy. Even I do this and I'm really busy. So so I tell my patient, get yourself a crock pot, put some meat and
Yes. Love the
vegetables and
crock pot. Yes.
yes, and get some herbs, and all herbs are weeds. Weeds, they grow. That's what their potency comes from,
Right.
because they can grow everywhere and they do not require your care and they do not require too much water.
See, you're debunking a lot of myths here, and which I love, Barbara. You're making
Yes,
it easy for everyone. Everyone thinks that it's so difficult and so
no,
time consuming to eat well and to take care of yourself, but it's really not.
no, it's easy. Herbs are very easy to grow because all our weeds except basil, but it is kind of chimeric. But all of them, you get to your you know, nursery in a community and put some into your. If you have a backyard, put in backyard. If you have a balcony, they grow very well on a in a pot. All of them, they will come up every year. And also, they if you have a sunny window, you can grow them on a sunny window. They are not easy to grow. And if you just need a little bit to your, you don't have to put a lot of them to your crock pot. Just put a little bit. And
What's the most beneficial herb that you use?
Oh, I love rosemary. Here it is.
Yeah.
And it's also in my book. Yeah. Love it. Because this is anti-inflammatory, it's antifungal, antiviral, and grows. It's a shrub, just like sun. It grows in every soil. Sun and little water. Do not overwater.
Yeah, rosemary is pretty hardy. So what are some small immediate steps we can take when we begin our journey to better brain health? What are some small steps for us?
The first small step is just to motivate yourself that you want to do that. And if you do not have motivation, because what I do, I want to inspire people, encourage people. Please try to take care of your brain. So do good diet, exercise. Everything is in my book. Because I know we are almost out of time, and exercises,
no rush.
Meditation, so I can cover it later if we have time. So the first step is you guys just need to, okay, I need to start doing this. I want to put myself on a road to better brain. Now, if you don't have a motivation or you don't know what to do, despite that you read my book and my blog, then it's okay. This is a perfectly good counseling question. You can get a counseling and ask counselor, okay, help me get motivated.
Help me get motivated. Yeah.
Yes, help me get motivated.
Sometimes we need a little bit of help. And Barbara, yes. Is it ever too late for us to begin this? Because some of our listeners might be hearing all of this and might be thinking, okay, I've been eating McDonald's for the past 40 years. It's too late for me. I've already done all the damage. No. Is it ever too late?
No, it's never too late, because your brain develops right now we know that to the end of your life. It's not like when I was in school, graduate school, they were teaching us that the brain actually develops to the age of 12, and then it's kind of, no, we know right now that you can, if you walk, even if you, okay, there is a study in my book that says that it was done on seniors, that they were walking 40 minutes 3 times a day on a treadmill. Yes, I am doing this outside. Treadmill is too boring.
Me too. I like to be outside.
No,
that positive energy in me.
Yes, but what the study said that when they did it for half a year, their hippocamp grow. What is hippocamp? Hippocamp is this little subcortical structure in your brain that is responsible for your short-term memory. So it collects your short-term memory and then sends this to other parts of your brain. So it's important in short-term memory and learning. It grows. They have a research. They have evidence that it happens. So yes, if you didn't take care of yourself for 40 years and you still want to do that, it's still time to do that. You know, we can get better until the end of our life. Now, is this if you can do everything and still have some problems, because life is life.
Of course.
There is no, you know, there is no
No
certainty in
quick
life.
fix. Yes.
Yes, but if you know, but knowing that you can do something to help yourself is very powerful.
Very
Because
powerful.
yes, because you are not hopeless. You are not sitting there and said, okay, well, I don't have dementia today, but I may have it tomorrow. No, this is a very wrong thinking. You know, just get up and walk for half an hour, because walking is very good for your brain, is the best treatment for anxiety, depression, one of the best treatments, because when you walk, and I know I do the same, if I have a frustrating day, I just put my shoes on and I walk until I'm tired, an hour, maybe some 45 minutes, hour and a half. And then when my body is tired, my brain kind of relaxes and it says, it wasn't that bad day.
It wasn't that bad. That's
No,
right. So Barbara, what is your favorite self-care practice? You said you like to walk. What's your favorite self-care practice?
Well, I do a lot of gardening because I like to eat my food from, you know, I like to eat fresh food, but
Fresh food.
yes, oh, absolutely. Because gardening is very easy and I put everything in a book. It's really easy.
You do give us a lot of steps. I love it.
Yes, and you then go and pick up, you don't have to buy the whole box. You know, and then throw out half of it, you know.
Well, you always have the ingredients on hand from gardening.
Yes, and everything is fresh. And you know what? Yeah, the other most important that I believe in is meditation, because it's more and more research coming out. And it was on the news 2 days ago that meditation is better than medication in treating anxiety. And there is a lot of research that says that it's at least as good as ADHD medications.
So Barbara, I know a lot of our listeners are thinking this right now. Oh, meditation, I don't have the time to do that.
Well, meditation is, I think people have my patients tell me the same.
Yeah.
I'm not good in meditation.
I'm not good. I can't sit there. It takes too long. I don't have the time. So what do you say to that objection?
Okay, I tell them, first of all, that people have a bad information that meditation is about clearing your mind. You cannot clear your mind unless you are dead or enlightened. This is not what meditation is about.
Right.
Yes, not possible, because when you sit down and start breathing, the thoughts will be coming. That's normal. That's normal. So what the benefits come from is that you just sit down, find 3 minutes. I tell people, get 3 minutes, put your timer on 3 minutes, sit down in an armchair in a quiet place. If you want to do this outside, I love doing this outside. If I can, even when it's cold, I just put a hot jacket or a warm jacket. Just sit down and breathe with your abdomen. You need to learn to breathe, not this breathing, but this breathing with abdomen. But there is so many teaching apps that are free to teach you how to do abdomen, and just sit down, breathe with your abdomen, and just sit down then and breathe. And when you notice that you are thinking about what you are going to do tomorrow, just bring your thoughts back to breathing. And that's what this beneficial, all these benefits are coming from. And then if you don't do this once, just tell yourself, I'm going to try for a month. Okay. If you cannot do this every day, do this every other day. If you can only
start with 3 minutes.
We only have, start with 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then put on 5. And then if you can do 20 minutes, is enough. If you can do 20 minutes twice a day, is enough. And in my book, I am introducing this before sleep meditation, because a lot of people have problems with sleep. And so I teach my primary care physician that I work with them. It's before prescribing them medication or other
or taking
providers.
melatonin, for example.
Yes. That Sleep and anti-anxiety medication, benzodiazepines, are linked to early dementia. So use them only if you have to. Not every day, not for years and years, but that's a different subject. But learn how to, going to sleep is not, sleep is very important. And try to get between 6 and 8 hours of sleep, because your brain cleans up all this debris. But if you had a bad day, it's okay. Bad night is okay. You can try to next day.
Do you recommend meditating before sleep?
Yes, I recommend. Yes, and there is a before sleep tea, Buddhist tea meditation that I kind of get my inspiration from, because going to sleep is not off and on switch.
Yes,
you have to prepare yourself for sleep. You have to have a downtime.
So how long do you have to meditate before sleep then? What do you recommend?
20 minutes, but if you only have 10 minutes, just do your calming herbal tea. Find out which herb is calming for you. There may be this one. This is my favorite. This is lemon balm. It doesn't look very good, but it smells heavenly. It's anti-anxiety. It's Melissa officinalis. It's a medic. All herbs, most of the culinary herbs are also medicinal herbs, and I'm covering this in my book. So sit down and sip the tea and breathe and prepare yourself by do the hygiene first. Do your hygiene first. Put your pajama on.
And just be ready to go to sleep, just completely.
Yes, and just calm yourself down. If reading books, it works, you can read books, but don't watch TV or check
your social media. Don't.
No, because it is because the blue light that they emit, it's not good for your brain.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Okay, that's all great advice, and I'm going to use that, and I'm sure our listeners will.
Absolutely. And meditation, yes. So I really encourage you to please try to do meditation. And if you do this 100 times, at least, maybe for you will be 50, maybe for somebody 80. If you sit down and start breathing, your body will immediately go to this meditation mode.
Yes, I've done it, and it does happen. It is so true. So
yes, it is
that's a good start for everyone.
It's just like with Pavlov dog. You sit down and your body is okay. It's meditation time.
That's right. It's meditation time. So Barbara, adding to the long list of your accomplishments, and it is very, very long, you are also an accomplished mezzo-soprano. Share with us how this gift has elevated your life and inspired you to do what you do.
Well, I wanted to be, I always loved music. So I wanted to be a doctor, but I also wanted to be first I wanted to be a pianist. I started piano, and then I wanted to be a opera singer. And I have to say that music goes kind of together with medicine, because a lot of my, I went to the formal music school, and a lot of people from my class, either pianist or vocalist, went to medical school.
Really?
Yes, because
well, it's not surprising. I mean,
no, because
years ago when I had my first child, the big thing was the baby Mozart.
Yes, baby Mozart is absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic for neurological development.
Yes, absolutely. It is. Yes. So that is because I think truly medicine and brain functioning is kind of more art than science. So we need all this scientific, but then when we put this information together, is every patient is different. You never in brain science, you never hardly ever get a patient that looks like your DSM-5 or ICD-10. You are hardly ever get the same symptoms that they put under diagnosis. You need to figure out actually what is going on.
Of course.
So yes, a diagnosis is good for for insurance companies and just let other providers know if you are going left on right or straight, but you need to figure out what actually is going on. So it's I love it because it's like a scientific work. Every patients is like a scientific work.
Yes, it is. So
yes, it is.
It is. It's all about healthy body and mind. So Barbara, do you have a favorite quote or inspirational saying that you would like to share with our listeners? You have quite a few in your book. Anyone that stands out to you?
I don't know, because it really well, I think the most inspirational, what's most important for my patients is basically that, as long as you are breathing, there's more wrong with you, right with you than wrong with you.
Yes, I think that those are definite words of wisdom that we should go by for sure. For sure.
Yes.
Finally, yes, go on, Barbara.
Because you cannot give up on yourself. Because the moment you give up on yourself, your body and brain will give up on you.
Yes. Well,
so don't give up on yourself, because the research says that people who want to get better do get better. We have research on that.
But you have to have that motivation and that desire to do that for yourself.
I know it's not easy. It's very easy if you have it's not easy, it's difficult if you have neurological problems, you have traumatic brain injury, and all over the sudden, the world is, just dumped on you and you can't even walk. But you cannot give up on yourself. Always think there is a future. Always, I can do something about it. I can get help. If you reach for help, you will find help. It's there.
It is there.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to write this book to. Okay, you can get help, but also I want to inspire you. Take care of yourself, because we are one, body, mind, and spirit. And we have to take care of a body. We have to take care of mind, but you also have to take care of your spirit. Try to be on a sunny side of the street if you can, not all the time. Try 80% of the time, because it's very important for your well-being.
Well, Barbara, the book was really incredible, and it definitely changed my outlook on a lot of things, and I know that a lot of our listeners will feel the same. How can we find out more about you and your work, Barbara?
So I have a website, www.drkoltuska.com, and I said also on this website is a direct link to my blog, and I'm they don't pay very much, nothing almost, but it has so much, once my book was out, the Psychology Today magazine editors contacted me and said, okay, can you write for us? So I'm writing for them.
I saw that your blog has a lot of invaluable information, a lot of links to some really interesting articles about brain development and different tools that you can use.
Well, yeah, I think, yes, it's good, because I already have almost over 80,000 views. So it looks like people. Yes, isn't it interesting?
Yes, okay. It's fantastic.
Yes.
That shows me that people have the desire to be healthy.
Yes, yes, I think this is like a new, after COVID. Oh, I forgot to talk a little bit about COVID. COVID is very dangerous to the brain. So whoever, so people, please do whatever you can to stay safe, because this is, yes, I wrote an article about it. Yeah. But also what I wanted to say is that the articles from my blog 4 times were promoted to essential reading. And put on
essential reading. It is, and
yes, and we're put on a first page for Psychology Today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I think it's a good source of information, and what I want everybody to be very cautious is just to do whatever it takes to also protect themselves from getting sick. I know that it's not always possible, because the research says that COVID invades and infects brain and causes changes in a brain similar to traumatic brain injury. So even mild COVID causes that kind of changes. So especially people who have a history of brain problems or had traumatic brain injury, they need really to do everything to stay safe and healthy and not get infected, because the long-term COVID is real and there is no cure. But I don't want to end on a negative note, because
Right.
I
We want
wanted
to
to
end on
be,
a positive note.
yes, I wanted to be inspirational. So there is so what I believe, there is always something you can do to help yourself. And if you are listening to me and you are 80 or 90, there is still, and you are still well functioning, it means that you are doing something well. Continue and be conscious about your brain health. And if you are 20, that is the same.
Get
You know,
started.
the earlier you start, the better you will be.
Absolutely. Well, Barbara, we've learned such incredible things today about our brain health. Thanks for sharing your wisdom with us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Gabby, for having me.
Thank you. And this is Gabby Olzak of the GAB Talks. Until next time, keep on reading.